bedhead, but
all right, we're going live.
Goldylocks Productions broadcasts universal cosmic frequencies that unlock, awaken, and expand the consciousness of our worldwide viewers and listeners.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Enjoy this Goldylocks Productions presentation of the Joyful Findings Show with your host, Melissa Parks.
Woohoo! Welcome back to the Joyful Findings Show. Today is May 13th, 2020, and I'm so excited you guys could join us here today. I have a guest, as you can see. I'll be introducing her very shortly. You guys can just look at her for a second and feel into her energy. And I just put her on the spot there. I'm so glad that you guys could be here today. The energy is so intense and so strong right now. While we're talking, I want you guys to tap into those vibrations, that love vibration that's flowing through me, through my guest, Deeia, and through each one of you as we make this connection to raise that vibration. Because again, they're giving me goosebumps and I've only just started my show. So the energy is strong. They are so excited that we could all be here today. And I'm glad you guys are joining over in the live. If you guys have questions for me or Deeia, please drop them in the little chat box over there. And also, I'll be answering more of the message type questions towards the end of the show after we do some chit chat. So make sure you drop those later in the show. But I don't want to leave anyone out because I feel like there are a few important questions out there that will need to be addressed so that you guys can move forward. Now, to introduce my lovely guest sitting on the other side of my screen today, I have a little thing I have to read here. I'm not good at reading out loud, so here I go. Farm girl turned designer turned truth seeker. I love that. Patriot and spiritual warrior turned one in tune with undeified God and the omnipresence above and beyond, which is love, or you can simply call her Deeia. Deeia Topp, my beautiful guest here today, has an amazing past, which I'm going to read a little bit more about right here, and then we can jump right into what this is all about today. For years, Deeia has been on the path that she couldn't always see clearly. Does this sound familiar to everybody? But the burning light of the divine spark inside her lit the way. It led Deeia to question whether writing her novel, Complicated by Design, right, which is beautiful, was programming or divine inspiration. It urged her to decipher and discern whether the experience she described in her nonfiction book, Unconventional Truth, were false light or organic light. And boy, isn't this a lesson for everybody on earth. As a high-end designer for 27 years, holy crap, you did that a long time. Deeia had clients who were politicians, professional athletes, and CEOs of billion-dollar companies. She often described many as the likes of Real Housewives. However, back then, Deeia didn't realize that all those experiences were preparing her to connect the dots of her life with world events. Woo, exciting. And look, I have goosebumps while I read this. And how they dovetailed into the fictional characters that she's created to craft a series that unleashes the wave of understanding. Why? Because our lives have been designed to be complicated, but that's changing. And you know what? We're all in charge of that changing. So I'm glad you could be here today, Deeia. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Good to see you.
Yes, absolutely. Would you like to share anything with our people right now? Or actually, let me share this first. So I hope you guys saw the video that I attached to this today, because that little video is the show that Deeia, the book, she's turned into now a show. You know, we're trying to get that to a TV show to raise awareness. And she sent it to me. She sent it to me on a Sunday, and I saw it and I cried. And I'm like, I have to share this. I automatically shared it on Facebook. I started sharing it out to my friends in text messages. And I find out about an hour later, I wasn't really supposed to share that, but I was so compelled to just share it. So why don't you share with us what that's all about, Deeia? Because it's just so moving. I mean, I want to cry now thinking about it.
Well, I have to thank you for actually unleashing it and just letting it flow out there, because I think too many times we get stuck in that perfection mode. And it's important to realize that perfection can come in the connections that we make. It doesn't have to be a perfect, product that we put out. And obviously, as you could tell if you've watched the video, it's nowhere near perfect at this point. It's a very rough draft. It was sent to me just to look at the color correction. The sound is not leveled. You know, I could go on and on. The special effects aren't dropped in or none of that is done yet. But the beautiful response that came from that, from people who, you know, cried, people who've said it captivated them, people who, you know, have given up, you know, on the world, and they said that it gave them hope. I mean, just, oh my God, I've been so incredibly touched by, it just makes me emotional talking about the response just from, you know, the few people that have seen it. So that shows me that it's really powerful. And it's about waking up. I mean, it's that simple. It's about waking up.
It is that simple, and it is about waking up. And when you finally get to watch even just that little 5-minute blip, even though it's not perfect, and I don't care, it's the message that's important, right? And just with the first lines, you know, where she's talking to herself in her head and, you know, should I get up and do this? You know, because that's been programmed into us, you know, get up, go to work, you got to do this, you got to do that. And if you don't do this, all this stuff's going to fall apart. And really, that's part of our lives that we're starting to change now, right? This goes along perfectly because I've been telling a lot of my clients and the people on the show, what is it you have passion about moving forward now, right? So that you can create that, because that's what's going to support you in this new universe or this new world that we're creating, this new earth. It's going to support your passions, not what we've been told we have to do.
Right. And this has been a passion of mine, I would say, for, oh my God, since probably I turned 40. I didn't even realize it. I didn't realize where it was taking me. I just all of a sudden felt like I was going to be writing this book, and I wasn't sure why. And, you know, then it ended up 2 books. And then I ended up seeing, you know, being shown how it kind of really, you know, the characters were coming together with real world events, and how it just all really dovetails to be presented in a manner that helps people understand what we've been going through in the world. Using different characters from different backgrounds, different experiences that are relatable, you know, so everybody can kind of feel like, oh my God, I know that, or I felt that way before. Wow, I didn't realize that was programming. You know, maybe they see a term in the, you know, TV series that they're not aware of, that leads them to, you know, search out information about it so they can learn more. So, I mean, there's a lot of different layers to it, but it has been this burning, driving desire of mine to get it out there. And now's the time. Now is go time. It is time to get it out there. Whereas I kept, you know, thinking through the years, what am I doing wrong? Why isn't this going? Why isn't this? But it was because I hadn't learned everything I needed to learn to get it to that point. I hadn't experienced everything. I didn't know exactly how it was going to end. You know, there was just so many things that my human self was caught up in. Why isn't this moving? Why isn't this happening? Instead of just allowing myself to experience the process. And now it's in this format and this package that is ready to really put it out into the world. And I'm excited.
I know, I'm excited for you too. And it's funny how our human self really gets in the way of just being in the flow, right? Because we put up these expectations, like if I finish X, Y, and Z, then, you know, it should roll into the next thing. But that's our human self, and not just allowing the divine time. And also the perfection part holds us up a lot, right? That even happened with me with this darn show, right? I wouldn't get up here because, you know, I didn't like how I looked. I don't know how I talk, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. We say play all that chatter in our brains. So again, while we're changing all of that, we're learning to change that chatter from crap, right, into more positive things so that we create something better here. And through your journey, you've learned a lot. I mean, you gave up your career and haven't had a job for what, almost 4 years now? Has it almost gone that long, or is it 3 something? I don't know. It's been like a long time as you've been working towards this project, you know. And, you know, sometimes we get caught up in that too. You know, it's like, should we go, you know.
How am I going to support my family? How is yeah, when is this all going to happen? But I know now that because of the material that's included in the series, it was like humanity wasn't really ready. Do you know what I mean? We hadn't reached that point. So there's this divine window open now, with all the things that are happening in the world, and people are waking up. People are becoming aware, because in my opinion, those are two different things. You know, people can be spiritually aware and yet not awake, you know, to what's happening in the world. They're still sleeping.
Agreed. 100% agree there.
And now is the time where those two are really bridging. And this series kind of is a bridge for that. It's bringing, like, you know, the digital soldiers together with the spiritual warriors, or, you know, you can call them truth seekers with, you know, light workers. How, you know, there's just so many different terms, which really is irrelevant. It's a matter of us all coming together now and uniting, basically for the greatest good, and putting out these projects that benefit humanity and benefit Earth. You know, it's not about us. I mean, it's really about what are we doing here to help create change, for the greatest good, truly for the greatest good. Not just saying that, because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of things out there that say that, you know, about globalism and the new world order, and they've got all these, you know, flashy terms and things they use, but that's not genuine. You know, that's not coming from the heart.
Exactly. That's why I am telling all my clients and everyone on the show to go in their heart center and get what the truth is. If it totally resonates with you, that's your truth. If it goes, makes you think, then you might want to think about that, to why that might be like iffy for you, and stand in your truth, right?
Sometimes we really do need to do the research, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why we are coming together with that whole community, that, you know, the bridging of the digital soldiers, because, you know, their discernment, they are critical thinkers, they are researchers, they are diggers, they are bringing up truth. And my cat just decided, one of them, that they think they want to join us. Hi, baby.
Welcome, cat.
So, you know, you've got that part of it that's important for the spiritual community to learn as well, that we have to marry the two. It's not just all what we feel. You know what I mean? You back that up with truth.
Yes.
And sometimes that comes from digging and researching and actually releasing the truth. And we're seeing that now with all these documents that are coming out.
I know there's amazing information out right now. It's blowing my mind.
And truth vibrates basically the same as love. Love and truth are the same. Are you gonna come over?
Yeah, which is so funny, because I've been getting on the love thing. This morning in the shower, they're showing me that I need to make this sign. I'm not even sure what it's supposed to say, but it's about love. And it's supposed to be, love doesn't divide, but it unifies. So it's like, we need to remember that. A good thing I just recorded that, so I'll know what it says later. But it's like, it doesn't divide, it unifies. So, and that opens up my heart chakra when I say that. So it's like, we're trying to bring that unity together, and each one of us that are doing that, right? As long as we're standing in our truth, it helps someone else stand in their truth and stand in their truth. So I feel like there's this like whoop, whoop, whoop stuff going on.
And the waking up and the awareness part really is learning, what is it that has been dividing us?
Yes.
Politics divides us. Well, and, you know, the separate parties.
Right.
Religion, the different.
Our color of our skin, everything. They make everything.
Right. But there's no need for the division. None. We're all one, you know. So it's an important time to realize that where we see people trying to divide us is where we need to make sure we're standing strong in our truth, in our light. Yeah. And in our power too, and taking our power back.
Yes. I love that. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people are actually taking their power back right now as they're seeking their truth and figuring that out. They're like pulling that back. I feel like that's kind of like, but I feel like a lot of a lot of them are also resisting it too. There's a lot of resistance too of all this. So but I feel like that's starting to let up. I feel like people are starting to see their truth. They're starting to stand in their truth. That's not something we've been told to do in this lifetime. That's where it's been complicated by design, right?
Yeah.
Because they never let us do that, or we never thought we were allowed by whatever we were taught, right? Our belief systems from our parents, our grandparents, our religion, our backgrounds from wherever. And now it's like we're trying to like shedding all that old stuff off and finding out who we really are all over again.
Exactly. We are separating the lies from the truth, because the lies are basically, you know, when you talk about this virus that's going around, the real virus, in my opinion, is lies.
Yes, I'll agree with that. Lies, black lies everywhere.
Because you know, you've got lies and you've got truth. And so if truth is the same vibration as love, then what is lies? It's the complete opposite of that.
Correct.
It's
totally agree. I will not argue that point at all. I'm totally in agreement.
Truth and love are ascending energy.
So I see we have some people over here watching. I see Mel's in there. Remember Melanie? Your little, yeah. If you guys have any questions for Deeia, if you had seen the little video, make sure you pop them in there and we can ask Deeia. Maybe she can give more clarity or give you an answer to whatever you might be thinking while you're there. That's awesome. And I have some people out here that are saying, I'm finally standing in my truth, and it feels amazing. Yay. And it really does start to feel amazing once you start to step in your truth, right? Remember when we were going through this in the beginning, it was like peeling off all those onion layers. Deeia, remember like 5 years ago when we started doing some of this stuff together, and we were going through some of like peeling off all those layers. They were so heavy, remember? And it's like, you know, some of these people, and we know, we've been through it, but it's a lot easier for you guys now. You guys got the like, and I'm getting goosebumps as I say that. You guys got the fast track. We had to go the little slower route, take the collective pain a little harder for you or whatever. But now I'm glad to see that more people are standing in their truth, because that's showing me, you know, I call it the earth lighting up. You may see it as that table sometimes that we talk about, Deeia, that the life is, it's starting to, that table represents that earth, our earth. So that amount of light is where we're still, doing construction. I feel like there's still a little construction going on, but the lights are starting to light up more. More people are being aware. More people are connecting to their God self, their higher selves. So this is very important as we move forward. So bravo, people. Whoop-woo. So do you have anything you'd like to share, Deeia, that I haven't brought up, or, you know, might be important to this point in time?
No, I'm open to questions. I know people come to you for messages, so I think that's great. That's a fun part of your show.
It is a fun part of my show. I'll get to some of those in a minute, but I know there might be a couple people. If you guys, I'm glad that you guys are all here. If you guys had a chance to check out Deeia's little video that we posted there, Goldylocks did put it in the chat there. So if you haven't seen it, click on it, take 5 minutes and do it, and jump back on and ask us any questions that you want, or tell us how moved you feel by it. Because when I shared it with my group, my Monday night class, so moved. So moved. I mean, I get goosebumps just trying to tell you right now that you were able to hit that little chord inside of people that needed to be like, they kind of show me as like a little good guitar string, and you like plucked it, and it's making that vibration now, or you're helping that vibration. So I know that this is going to help on so many different levels, again, because they have goosebumps. Look, you can even see on my face, and it's like 82 degrees here in Florida right now. So the energy that's flowing out from this is going to help so many people. And now let's talk about this, because you're not doing this the traditional way. You're not doing this like the Hollywood way. I'm not sure how to describe this, but you're not going the old way of things, right? We're doing this new ways.
Right. Well, you know, part of my journey was learning about what's been going on in Hollywood, and not with everyone. You know, it's the same with anything. But there has been agenda and mind control and programming. And if anyone has not watched Out of the Shadows, the documentary, I would highly recommend that. It's was released, just a couple weeks ago, and it has like 13 million or so views. It's exceptionally well done. It gives you a little bit of information about kind of what's been happening in Hollywood and how, I mean, just think about it. It's called TV programming. So it's not like it was hidden from us. They actually call it TV programming. So they use movies and programs just like mainstream media to try to control the narrative, and through agendas and various things. And I just realized that that's not where this is meant to be. This is meant to be done in new ways, using new energy. So we are going to be doing it here in North Idaho. This is where we filmed the sizzle with amazing cast. Everybody volunteered who you see on there. People volunteered their locations, their places of business for us to use. Actors who were incredibly talented, and they volunteered their time, their energy. And I think you can feel it because, it comes from their heart. And that's what this is all about. A lot of things in this world are being deconstructed and rebuilt. And Hollywood is pretty much one of them. The same with governments, the same with, the medical industry. I mean, we're seeing kind of the collapse of all of that. And I'm not really sure collapse is necessarily the best term. When you do work in the two-dimensional level with planetary architecture, you see that it really just gets repurposed. It gets changed. So all of that energy gets changed into what does benefit humanity and what does benefit Earth. And that it's a slow process in the physical world. So you're going to see some of these things crumble, and it's starting to happen faster and faster. I mean, Melissa, you and I talk about that all the time, how fast things seem to happen now.
Yes.
So anyway, that's kind of why we're doing it outside of that sphere of influence.
That's awesome. And I use the word restructuring because it's like taking what you already have, but fixing it, or bending it, or whatever you have to do. They keep using that word with me, restructure.
In the sizzle, I think she says a line like, we're living in this inverted universe.
Yes.
And it's true because, I mean, literally on so many different levels, everything has been mirrored and flipped upside down. And now we're coming back and we're returning it all to origin. So that's really exciting. And it's exciting that now that energy is moving in to support all of these projects, where before it was literally being like, sucked, vampired away from these type of projects and put into things that had agenda that was not for the greatest good.
Agreed. So we're here all flipping the switch. We're inverting it. It's so funny because they show me as like a trampoline, right? Being all bent in and seeing that as the earth. Well, look this way. And now it's up this way. So it's funny how they show me different visuals when that happens. But it's like, just jump up and down a few more times, change where you're at. That's how everything's going to happen. Karen said she saw it and her kids did as well. So that shows that even more people are out there seeing it. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you guys for tapping in and watching that.
Share it. Even though it's rough, please share it because it's so much more than that perfect little package. It doesn't need to be that. So please share it. That would be terrific.
Yeah, subscribe and share so you guys could keep track of when the next little episode gets put up, or it gets a little more polished.
Reading them. And it's exciting because, 3 episodes are written. We've had 2 table reads, which is where you get the actors together and they all read their lines, around a table. And then you kind of flesh out, you get a feeling for what dialogue's working, what dialogues, needs to be tweaked. And I'm so excited to actually move those from paper, into production and to start filming them, start picking the wardrobe and it's so much fun. All of it, bringing it all together. I guess it's a lot like my design career where I used to bring all these puzzle pieces together, create this beautiful house for someone. It's the same thing. I'm just bringing all of these kind of different elements together in a different creative way. excited.
And I'm excited to see where it goes from here because, like I said, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, yeah, I got to share this. It's got to go. It's got to go. So the universe, kind of like tells us when it's time, because I was moved. I was completely moved when I watched it. And I wasn't even finished watching it, I don't think. And I was hitting share to share on Facebook. And then I was sharing it out with my friends. So yeah, definitely get out there and share that because the message and the love behind it is what's important. And then the more love that we share through that. So because there's a lot of love that we need to start sharing, and it's through the things that we're watching on TV. It's through the things that we're watching on the internet or these live shows that you guys tap into. Where are you putting your energy? Where do you want your energy to go? You're in control now. Every week I tell you, I give you back your steering wheel and I tell you, you're in control. No one else has control of you but yourself. And this Deeia's show is about taking back that steering wheel, not being complicated by design anymore, and being who you need to be, right? And I get goosebumps as I say that still. So there's so much energy flying through this show today. I hope you guys are feeling it out there.
Truths. It's really kind of taking both of my books.
True.
Because that was part of the thing of flipping the script on Hollywood is when you create TV shows because you have an agenda to control the narrative and to program people. It's very different when you flip that and you decide, you know what, I'm going to create something that shares truth, that shares from the heart, that where people feel it, that, it's so much bigger than an agenda that's, again, not for the greatest good. So I'm excited. And I just can't even tell you how good it feels that you were moved that much to share it, even though I have to say you freaked out a lot of people around here because it was.
I'm sorry, crew and everybody working on it, but, universe was like, pow.
And I'm grateful for that because I know when it's time to go, it's time to go. There are no coincidences,
No, there really just
There's
isn't.
absolutely no coincidences. So you shared it for a reason, and because it's time to go. Like it is like green light. See the green.
It is
light.
go time. I keep getting it's go time. Like bring it on. We got this. We're ready to go. We've been training our whole lives for this. We came into this life kind of knowing this, but not knowing this at the same time as we've uncovered to know what we know and remembering who we really are and how powerful we are as we move forward. And this is going to help empower those people because the message behind yours is about love, is about, letting go of that control that's had on us. You know what I mean? So really the thing behind it is love, right? Because that's what you've wanted to share with everyone since I've met you is breaking out and sharing that love.
It's sharing some things that people, don't always want to look at, don't want to know about, some things that aren't easy to consider, when you learn that like your government has basically lied to you, and you're, just all these different things that we learn that we took as truth, all the people we trusted, so there's a lot of things that are touched on, and not too deeply because that's not the idea. The idea is to spread the love and to show, but it also creates the understanding of how we got where we're at and what we've went through and how we're creating change to get out of it. And not just on the physical level, but, I'm trying to show a little bit of more about consciousness and things that are unseen, but we know that they have such a tremendous impact on our lives. And that's part of bridging those kind of communities together, those who are really set, like, you've got to see it in the physical world. I've got to see the evidence to those who, see it energetically in creation before it ever becomes physical. But now we're really kind of bridging those two and we're coming together united. And we are just this is going to be an amazing world, amazing future for humanity. I'm excited. It's an exciting time to be alive.
It is truly an exciting time to be alive. And I've even been saying that probably all this year, right? And I always like to say that 2020 is our clear vision of what we're creating for it, not what we're seeing, but what we're creating, right? The 2020 vision of what we're creating. So we're creating our joy. We're creating our happiness. It doesn't matter what's going on around us. It's like we got our joy glasses on and everything looks good, So that's part of what your thing is showing them too, right? So it's like getting out out of the old habits and finding out who you really are. There's a lot of moving messages in it, in just that short little span that you were able to get out there so far. You know what I mean? It's intriguing because it gets people to think, it gets people to feel, right? Just like I felt it emotionally, because I know the impact it can have on humanity, right? That's why I started to cry, because I know I can feel, because you all know watching me that I'm very spiritual, I'm very connected. And when I truly feel something that's truly going to help humanity, I break down in tears because I can feel it. I can feel that we're breaking through whatever that process was that was blocking us, right? And I have goosebumps as I'm talking right now. So, it's like feeling that energy and just going with it and trusting it, right? Because that's trusting our higher selves as we move forward. And I feel like that's what you're going to be helping people through this, because even through this, you've gone through your spiritual journey as well, from learning, past life regressions into, where we are today and whatever else you've learned in between. So it's always like this learning lesson, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. And to write about stuff, you have to experience it. So over the last 3 years, I've experienced all sorts of things that I would have never imagined, about mind control, about all sorts of things. But it helps on so many levels. So, it's not just about the researching and the learning to write about it and to share, but it's also about the changes. When we learn and we find the truth in something, when we see a program and we connect with it and say, wow, I recognize that as a program. That is us. That's the truth. So we've already shifted that. We're no longer programmed by that anymore. It no longer triggers us. It can no longer affect us just because we become aware of it. So yeah, I've learned a lot. I've been humbled. I have been, it's been quite a journey, but I wouldn't change a minute of it.
No, it's a fantastic learning experience. It's just like one of our viewers. We all asked to be here now. We did. We all signed up for this. We said, hey, we're going to Earth for that great awakening, that ascension process. We want to be there. We want to be a part of it. And we didn't know it was here until it actually just got here recently. And then I'm like, I think it's here. I think this is it. I think we're in it now. I think this is what we've been training for our whole lives.
How many years did we, do automatic writing and do different things where we continually got that message? You need to be the calm amid the storm. You need to be the calm amid the storm. Oh my gosh. Well, we're really we're in the storm now.
We are. And we're being very calm. And look, they're giving me goosebumps too.
We are calm because we're in the storm. And those, again, I go back to those two sides. You've got those digital soldiers. You've got those people who are out there who are literally putting truth out into the world. And that is stirring up a lot of stuff. So you've got this other side. We've been preparing for that stir up because we actually were there helping stir it up a couple of years ago. I mean, I know I was, posting all these things about,
stuff
and arrests that are going to come and sealed indictments and everything. And now, it's like this side, we're those rocks, those solid calmness that's coming with what is being stirred up here. And it's just we're all merging together. It's so fascinating to watch, absolutely fascinating to watch. Because when you see a post from someone like, say, General Flynn about wings, about getting your wings, and then you click on something and it flows in front of you, you see another post by somebody who's in, the spiritual community, like Lisa Renee, whose stuff is fantastic. And she's talking about the planetary wings. And so you can clearly see now that even though they're speaking different terminology or in different ways, referring into it in different ways, some people, use Bible verses, some people, but it's really all the same. It's all coming together. It's just mind-blowingly exciting.
It is coming together, and I want to make a point about what you just said. Just like you seeing that post with General Flynn, and it talks about the wings, and then you see this other post that talks about wings. So that's like the other side going ding, 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 ding. You know, you're following the dots. You know, so that's what I call those synchronicities that are no coincidence at all. You know what I mean? So it's like following in those steps. It's like they're going to flow in front of you exactly what you need in that moment to validate that last thing, so that it's like, all right, it's helping connect all the dots.
And keywords are really important. Like Q, like I don't know how many people, you know, follow Q, but it's the same thing. You know, it's those two sides that are coming together. There was a post that used the term dormant. Well, dormant you know, to those who are awake, they're trying to wake people up to the truth. Well, in the awareness part of it, we're becoming aware that we have dormant codes and things inside of us that are being activated.
Right.
So, you know, that term means kind of two different things, yet it's the same.
Like the dormant DNA, right? Because so we're
both sides are aligned. You know, both sides are really aligned in that I don't think we're fully seeing each other yet. And that's just part of dropping the judgment. And it's part of one side, you know, is so focused on justice. And over here on this side, we've got to be focused on forgiveness. Right. Because again, you've got to merge those two. You've got to merge the justice with the forgiveness. Else we're going to be all out of whack.
Yeah, and we can't be out of whack anymore. You know, and just like what you were talking about is like the raising the vibration, right? Because you'll have like the lower vibrations that are still low, hanging out in lower vibrations, being victims or whatever their story is, right? And then you have the others that are going to the higher vibrations, and we're like bouncing back and forth, right? We talked about this a lot too. We bounce back and forth to help those people that are ready to come up with us. But we have to kind of leave those lower ones alone, because they've made their choice. They want to stay there. But it's like we bounce back and forth a lot to get some of these individuals.
You know, I had a fascinating conversation yesterday with someone. Actually, maybe it was 2 days ago. Can't remember. But, you know, time, it's like.
What day is it? It's Blur Day.
But it was a conversation about free will, you know, about is there really good versus evil? Or is it just free will? Is it free will because we have that choice? In every moment, we have a choice. We can choose what is for the greatest good, what is beneficial to humanity and Earth, or we can choose, you know, the opposite of that. So is there truly light and dark? Is there truly good, evil? Or is it simply really our choices and free will that creates the illusion of all that?
Ooh, that's a deep question right there.
And I love that kind of stuff.
I know. Get you thinking. Get your thinking cap on. Yeah, I would have to say that's a lot of it. I believe that, you know, again, some of it's against our will because we gave that up, right? So again, that was a choice, but maybe we were born with that choice. It's hard to say, you know, what they were born, circumstance they were born into, but we all have free choice every time, right? Every moment. So you can make that decision, oh, that would be good for me, or, oh, that would be bad for me. And you know instinctively inside which is good and which is bad, but sometimes we still choose the bad one because we still have lessons to learn. So we go down that road, that bumpy road. But yeah, I believe that it has to do with free will, because it's like I tell some of my people, I've not always been a good person. I have not always been full of light. I mean, yes, I have, but I haven't always acted in that way, right? If you go back to my teens, my 20s, I was an idiot. And I'm not afraid to admit that, you know what I mean? I was not always nice. And there was some things that I'm not proud of, but I had to go back, forgive myself. I had to forgive those people that, you know, wronged against me also. So it's like, I had to learn that on this road. But now I'm like, you know, I can see that the choices that I made and the free will that I had to make them, I would not make them again, knowing what I know now, but I had to learn all of that to get to today.
Exactly. So there's no really need to go back and change any of that.
No, not at all.
Because your choices now actually do change that.
Correct. I know. I'm just trying to point that out to the people a little bit. You know what I mean? Because we can change that right now, right? All of a sudden, we're going to be love and light, and just vibrate our stuff and get out of ego and get out of judgment, because those are choices, right? I still see some of those. Sometimes that even still pops up sometimes. And I was like, how can you be coming from a place of love, but then be so judgmental? Because it's like I go back to when I was a Catholic. I'm always calls myself a recovering Catholic, because at 13 years old, when I had to go in and talk to the priest and do my confession when I'd done nothing wrong, making me lie, I was like, this is not my God. My God will not make me lie. I mean, this is craziness, So it's like we need to stand in that truth and realize it no matter what age we are. And it doesn't matter if you're 13, 33, 103. It doesn't matter anymore. But we're starting to get rid of all that bogus crap around us and really understand where we come from a soul self, rather than this human dimension that we just maneuver in while we're here.
Yes. And I think that we chose to be here at this.
Oh, we did.
Because we saw what was, I don't know if that's popping up on your screen, but we saw what was, what had been infiltrated and what had been inverted to a level that kind of took away our free will. And so now we're really standing in our truth and making sure that nobody takes that from us again. We're clearing those programs. We're clearing all of that old stuff.
But it came in like a tidal wave right now. As we all stand in our light to hold it. Which is awesome.
Questions for you, because everybody always wants messages when I tuned in.
Okay. Well, and if you feel like you have anything that you could add to these beautiful people that would like some messages, I'm going to let you pick them out today, Tiffany, because I'm not going to scroll through it, and I'll just let you pick them out and throw them up on my stream, and I'll just go bam. And then if Deeia gets anything, she'll tap in. She's pretty intuitive, because I text her. I'm like, hey, can you feel into this for me? She doesn't like to do it for the public, but she'll do it for me. But she's good at it. So just so you guys are all aware. All right. Yesterday, I finally of a relationship I've been clinging to for years, very toxic, but I cut the cord yesterday, and it's the first time I'm not crippled by it. Advice going forward from here, like woohoo is first, okay? Because just for you, even just to recognize that you needed to finally be out of that, I feel like you broke free. I got goosebumps for you, girlfriend. So this is going to help you move forward and find exactly what you want. This is also giving you so much freedom. I feel like you're like a little free bird right now, floating away. So for you to even recognize, cut that cord and move on your way, you are not lost. You might be a little cloudy, right? Because it's not what it was yesterday. But this is where you get to put on those 2020 glasses I'm talking about, and you get to picture what you'd like to have next, and you get to create that. So you are the master creator of your life, and you are the master creator of what comes next. And in that relationship, they want you to get out yourself a pad of paper. They want you to write that list, and they want you to be very specific in what you desire coming next. Anything you got, Deeia? I just go blah, blah, blah.
That was great.
All right. Awesome. Anyone else out there got any messages today, or not messages? Hey, maybe you guys have messages for me. I don't know. Okay. Champagne says, I'm open to anything that will be of guidance of me in regards of my spiritual path. How to maybe adjust being here more on the 3D level. Okay, I can help you with that. Bringing myself more to adapt here on Earth. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, well, sometimes it's a little hard to be earthly. I have an angel that's in my group too that does not like to be here at all on Earth because it's very restraining. So you have to let go of that ego part of it. You have to connect in high with your spiritual self, your angel self, whatever that might be. Allow kind of like this earth plane. Okay, the 3D is the reality that you're actually helping to create around you. So start creating something different. So it goes from 3D to 5D, because the more that we let go of that dense weight and move up into the reality that we want to create, that new ascension. Remember, I talk about Earth ascending. We're ascending. We have to kind of go with her. The 3D kind of hangs down here in Icky land, and we kind of want to get out of that. And as we break free, and I feel like you're going to break free, this is going to help to create that joy that you're looking for. And also start listening listening. Meditation. I'm getting meditation. Also, something going on with your third eye. Maybe it's the Band-Aid that needs to be ripped off. But I feel like there's a lot of visions that are coming to you. So meditate on that and clear that. I hope that was helpful, Champagne. I tell you what, once they get going, they just get going. It's so funny because my brothers will tap in and they can't watch me because I talk too fast, right? We're used to having like conversations normal, and then they're like, who are you? And when the messages start to come through, yes, you can definitely. Jules wants to ask you a question. Can I ask Deeia, what do you get from me around moving places? Thank you.
Oh, so Jules, why are you asking me that and not Melissa? I feel like moving right now isn't going to be like out of, it's not going to be out of state. It's not going to be out of like city. You're going to stay in a pretty general area. I think a lot of us are staying right where we are right now for a reason. That's all I get.
Okay, that's awesome. And I'm going to validate that for you because I do feel like she is going to move. I feel like it won't be far from where she is, maybe 2-3 blocks, maybe not very far. I feel like wherever you're at, Jules, you're helping hold the light right now. They're showing me like 3 lights being put up for you. So I'm not sure what that is. Maybe it's leading you in the right direction. 3s are very powerful for me. So they keep showing me 3. So just check into whatever's 3 blocks away, 3 miles out. It definitely has a 3 in it. Could have a 3 in the address. I don't know.
Right now we are stabilizing. You know, it's important to stabilize the energy. We've been building light, our lighthouses, pillars of light, whatever you want to use for terminology. But and we're using that to stabilize right now because the storm, it's going to be chaotic out there for some people. And there are going to be others who are just really concentrating, focusing on bringing in more organic light, make sure we're holding organic light. And so I don't see her moving too far.
Awesome sauce. See, you can do this, Deeia, even under pressure. Annette says, hi, is there any message from me from Mary Magdalene? Well, let me tap in for that. It's so cute when you guys ask for a specific person. All right, let's tap into Mary Magdalene. Okay, so Annette, Mary Magdalene is, she kind of like follows you around. I kind of like see her kind of like behind your right shoulder. I feel like she's like whispers in your ear a lot. There's a lot of communication that needs to happen there. I feel like you need to get out your pad of paper and you need to start doing some automatic writing with her. She's here to help you open. It's time for you to stand in that power and allow yourself to hear these messages. It's kind of like you got these corks going on in your ears. I feel like I have like headphones on or something, and I feel like you're taking those off. The corks are being pulled, and now you're ready to make that connection, and she is there waiting for you. So let me know when you get those messages. Sit down in a quiet place. 5-10 minutes is all you need to connect. You can spend longer once you get more into it, but I feel like 5-10 minutes might be good to begin, and then just let it to flow for you. So hope that's helpful for you, Annette. Oh, so much fun. The energy that's coming in, and I want to tell this to Deeia, because a lot of times we can have physical symptoms when we're going through the ascension symptoms, right? And sometimes we could be feeling heat in our bodies, or we're feeling, a pain or whatever it is. I want you guys to feel yourself flushing that out today. I feel like this is important. Like we're doing this major, little energy waterfall flush of all that energy that doesn't serve us, so we can stay connected to our higher self. Maybe let go of some of the physical pains we may be holding on, maybe some of the physical hurts we may be holding on to, and just really letting go of whatever no longer serves us for our highest and best. And so we can keep that connection to our higher self, and everything will fall into place. And also Deeia had mentioned, those people that are like, I like to say it as like some of those people are on the wave and we're like riding the top of the wave. Some of those are getting tumbled in the ground, in the bottom undertow, right? They're getting like tumbled along through this, and all they have to do is come up for air a little bit and get on top of the wave. So really, people, it's really just a choice. I get it. It's another choice. All right. It looks like Karen has a question.
Can I add about what you mentioned about pain? Is that I know I didn't know for the longest time, I recognized that I had, your spiritual body and a mental body and physical body and all of that. I didn't realize I had a pain body, that was kind of something separate. And then we get to the point where those all merge together anyway. But when people are feeling pain, I know it can be helpful if you feel into the pain body specifically, because then you are connecting with answers that aren't, filtering through like the mental body or the emotional or other things. So that's just something I learned that might be
I know
helpful.
there's just so many layers to us, isn't there? It's like trying to uncover all those layers. As we uncover the layers, we find out we have layers.
Mm-hmm. And then we find out we have more layers. And then you think you've connected really deep. And then you're like, oh, no, let's go to the next level.
Got to dive deeper.
Yeah, let's dive deeper. It's not just multiverse, it's omniverse. You know what I mean? It's like,
Oh, yeah. We just don't stop. We think we've made it to a certain level. And then they're like, no, try again. Woo! And then we go learn some more and we have fun while we're doing it, too, which is fun.
yeah.
All right. I did see Karen had a question. Does my dad want to share anything? Sure. Let me tap into your dad for you. All right. Karen's dad. All right. All right. So the first thing dad does is he kind of like step back, or he made me step back. So he's kind of like standing back and kind of like watching you. He shows me he doesn't get too close, but he gets close, doesn't get close. I feel like this was almost like your living relationship. You know what I mean? It's like he kind of stood back and watched. He's showing me how proud he is because you're making huge advancements in your life right now. And he also is like showing me like there's like this gift. There's this, I'm not even sure what this is, but I'm supposed to be giving you some kind of energetic gift. So whatever that is supposed to help you advance and to help you move forward. And he's just like, he's giving you a pat on the back too. So that again, showing me how proud he is. He may not have said that or said it while he was alive, but he really feels it and believes it and wants you to know that true to your soul. So I hope that was helpful to you, Karen. Yay. Awesome. I know the energy gets so incredible that I'm just like, when I get off the show, I'm like vibrating. I have to go outside and touch the ground and all that stuff. So you guys are adding so much energy today. You guys are doing a fantastic job at moving forward. You guys are just like, they keep showing me like this beating light. So you guys are really starting to open up to your higher selves, because I feel like it's coming from the chest area, from the heart chakra, the soul center. So I feel like you guys are getting rid of more of those layers, and also getting rid of the weights that you're kind of carrying around that are earthly, because they're not your responsibility. I feel like you're giving crap back to the people that it belongs to and going, that's not mine. I don't need that anymore. And you're just taking care of what's you and your little bubble. Because I did say Linnell wrote bubbles earlier, and that goes back to Monday's show, which is cool. But it's like, again, those bubbles, right? I always talk about bubbles. We're in each our individual bubbles. That's how I see us sometimes, is in our own little bubble. And you're creating what's in your little bubble. That's your reality. I might step into your reality, but I'm not going to stay there, right? It's like, even with Deeia, we come together. I step in her reality for a minute, but then I come out and I'm in my own reality. Does this make sense? Because it's like we're all creating this new reality, and we're making it to a higher vibration, because we're not listening to other people. We're not listening to mom, dad, grandma, and all these people that used to tell us to do X, Y, and Z, because it won't happen unless you do that. We're finding our own way without the rule book, right? We're finding our own way without being told what to do, because we're allowing ourselves to know our organic self, right? Our higher self, which is helping to unfold what's happening in front of us and what we're creating. Whether it's everything out of joy, helping create that more unity in this earth, creating more 5D, creating more love, joy, whatever those things are that we're starting to create more of, because we didn't like it the old way. We didn't like it that way. And I don't recall anyone that really did like 3 months ago. So let's change this. This is our restructuring time. And God has got our back. Once we give up fear, Once we give up fear to everything, God has got our back and everything is just taken care of. And if you still have fear, then you're not allowing God to take over, right? It's like, and I don't mean take over in a bad way, because I got goosebumps as I said that. I needed to rephrase that. It's you connecting into your God self to help you move forward, because we all signed up for this, right? We all said we wanted to come to earth and be part of this great awakening and this great change. And now we're here doing it. So stand in that love, stand in that light as we move forward, helping those around you as they start to open up too. Remember planting those seeds that are so important to help other people awaken or wake up. You know, we still have some sleeper cells out there that we need to wake up. They're just kind of, you know, ostrich in the sand. They got their head stuck down there, but that's okay, because they're going to start to recognize once they pull their head up, they're like, whoa, what happened around here? I don't remember Earth looking like this. It's going to be a lot different, you know. And that's funny because my brothers aren't really much into this stuff, but around Easter, my brother, my oldest brother, is like, have you noticed the different color of the sky? It's like bluer. It's like really blue now. So not even those people that are fully awake are still awakening, right? Because they're starting to recognize the sky might be a little bluer than it used to be, or the sun's a little bit different than it used to be. There's a lot of things that people are recognizing. And a lot of those codes that we mentioned earlier are coming to you in numbers. They're coming to you in pictures. They're coming to you in text messages sometimes, because sometimes you can misspell a word and you have to look it up and it means exactly what you're talking about. Deeya and I do this all the time. I'm like, wait, I got to Google that. I don't know what that means. You know, the phone just has a mind of its own. It writes a word and I'm like, all right. But it usually fits exactly with what we're talking about.
Yes.
Or sends it, connects the dots.
There's no way that means anything. There's no way that has any, you know, is even a word in the English language. And then you're like, wow, that is exactly what we're talking about. Yeah.
I know. It's mind blowing sometimes. It's like, how did they know? But they know because they're watching us. They're right here with us all the time anyway.
Again, there's no coincidences, right? So, yeah.
Which is amazing stuff. It's so awesome. Because it's like, I could even misspell, you know, words to somebody else. And it's like, oh, so I have to share this with you. This might not make sense, but you need to know this. And people go, what do you mean? And I'm like, oh, just it comes to you, right? We're getting so that we're not so woo-woo. We're getting so that we're more mainstream. As psychic people are, you know, more of the energy people. We're starting to rise up a little bit. You guys are, I want you guys to know how proud we are, because we're all have abilities. Everybody on this earth was built with the abilities already intact somewhere in there. It's just remembering how to get to them. Getting through those layers that may have been put on you since birth or relationships or whatever. It's about taking all that out and standing in that now. Woo! And that makes me excited.
And Melissa, it's like, you know, you said we're kind of coming down more to grounded reality. And you've got that other group that I was talking about earlier coming up and learning that, wow, there is more to life. There is a spiritual connection there. You know, it's so exciting again to be a part of what is happening right now in the world, to see people standing in their power, taking their power back in all sorts of ways, you know, whether it's people who are out there protesting, you know, standing, you know, up against the government, standing up against tyranny, whether it's someone who, you know, like you talked about, just not listening to, you know, a relative or somebody who isn't coming from a place of love. So I'm grateful for your show. I'm grateful for all the people that you help, all the things that you do in this world, you know, every minute of every day. So thank you for inviting me to be on your show. And thank you to everybody who has watched the video and shared. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Well, I'm very grateful that the universe brought us together to be friends. I mean, if you didn't show up for my class that night, I would have never known you and got to experience all this fun stuff with you. You know what I mean? But the universe, right? Like Deeya and I probably had a contract. We had to meet in 2015, you know? So we did.
Oh, I'm sure we did.
Absolutely, because you're definitely a soul sister. We definitely vibrate on the same vibration a lot of times. So I appreciate. Yes.
We've broken all of our contracts. Now we have soul agreements, because again, it's in that new energy, that new form. And so it's exciting that we've stayed friends because we're, you know, we choose it.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Absolutely, which is an amazing thing. I choose to be friends with everyone that is full of love and light. That's what I love, everybody. You know what I mean? But not everyone understands me. That's why I'm calling Deeia. I'm like, do you understand what's going on? Because I'll say something to Chris and he'll look at me like I have 4 eyes. I'm like, never mind, I'll ask somebody else. You know what I mean? Because, you know, we can even be in relationships that aren't at the same vibration. Like I vibrate like way high and Chris is like, looks at me like I have 4 eyes sometimes. But he's getting better at it. You know, as I learn, he also learns, which is amazing too, right?
Because we hold the light. We hold the light and we hold the space for them. And they, in return, they ground us.
Yes.
Because
and I need that big time.
We would literally be like, you know, floating away somewhere. So that's the beauty of our relationships. And I know a lot of people kind of struggle with that. Like I think someone replied to watching the video saying how, oh my gosh, I hope this goes mainstream because, you know, when I read things, my wife doesn't believe it or doesn't understand it. But if she could see a TV show about it, she would.
Right. It's actually helping people see that.
So many relationships that maybe one's awake and one's aware, you know, and it's now time for that person who's awake to become aware and the person who's aware to become awake. And then you kind of, again, merge in the middle.
And be awake aware.
We're all uniting. It's all about unity and love and excitement, joy. And truth, though, is so vitally important right now. Truth is, I mean, stand in your truth, use your truth, speak your truth. Lies are not cutting it.
No, we have to stand in our truth. And once we start doing it, it just flows out of you, whether you like it or not. And it empowers you.
Yep.
So awesome. Well, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Deeia first for being my first guest on my show. Thank you. I can't wait to see where Complicated by Design goes. I'm excited to keep following it and I'll keep sharing it. And I want to thank each and every one of you that are tapping in now and in the future. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. You guys have a fantastic week and I will see you next Wednesday. Love you.